consolidated their hold over the area. Let's begin chipping away, shall we?
Seaman has been scavengers out for years. But once word gets out that Seaman's gone, it'll be a gold rush. Let's get lost in the collapse. I can't wait.
like in general with the nerfs to weapons. Okay, that's on me. That's on me. Damn. He's asking, is the game worth getting?
If YouTube advertises and sells premium services as ad-free, yet simply redefines advertisements under a new name, promotions, without disclosing this in the premium terms or even in YouTube Help. This is simply word games and double talk, and I agree.
We are not ready for biocomputing, or are we?
In a few seconds, I'm going to show you one of the most disturbing
100%. And there's a simple way to solve this. When you pay for YouTube Premium, you no longer see the ad that is separate from the actual video, which is an improvement, but that does not block the ads that are within the video that are inserted by the content creator. So on YouTube, there's two different ways to have ads. Let's say I click on this video over here of my girlfriend dancing to Library Takeout, which is the catchiest song on the internet. They actually got rid of edit, so I have to click on I don't know why they got rid of the edit button. Okay, so which one is it? Is it the... Okay, so we click on the $sign. This says whether or not there are going to be ads before the video. These are the ads that get blocked when you use uBlock Origin, which if you're watching this channel and you're not using uBlock Origin by now, like, please, for the love of God, just install uBlock Origin. Just trust me on this one. And when I click details, there's a second type of ad. If I have in-video ads, I can do this. Now, there's a very simple way to solve this entire problem. If you pay for YouTube Premium, even though I have ads turned on in Earn, you're still not going to see them. But if I embed an ad into the video, you're still going to see it. And the best way to get rid of this is to do something similar to what Sponsor Block does. So Sponsor Block is an extension that BlackBerry is a little bit mad at, because Sponsor Block is something that tends to get BlackBerry the kitty canceled out of the video, even though she is not a sponsor or an ad. She's just a cute little kitty. But Sponsor Block is something that allows the community to independently verify the timestamps where ads reads appear inside of videos so that they can be skipped over. And if you install Sponsor Block for on your web browser or GrayJ or NewPipe or something like that, once you install Sponsor Block, you
things happening in science right now, and almost no one is talking about it. That's why we made this video. You're looking at a computer
are able to automatically skip the segments, or you can have a dialog box where it'll skip them when you click. It's pretty cool. You could just simply implement this functionality into YouTube and allow the creators to self-report. So on the video that I put over here, I could, if I click yes, it includes paid promotion, you could just have a little box over here where I insert the timestamps for the paid promotion. And if somebody has YouTube Premium, it automatically skips them over that time period. Sponsor Block has proven that it is very easy to implement this functionality into an Android application. It's demonstrated that it's easy to do it inside of the web browser, and there's absolutely no reason that YouTube cannot do this in 2026. And the fact that they are using this whole, well, there's going to be promotions in the video, not ads, they know. That is, in my opinion, that is a sign of intent, that YouTube understands that this is something they could potentially be sued over, and more importantly, that they understand this is a problem, but have not addressed it. If you wanted to address this in a manner that would not piss people off, all you'd have to do is make it so that those sponsored segments within YouTube videos could be skipped over by asking the creators to self-report when do ads appear in the content of your video. When is Linus mentioning honey and then not telling people later that it's a scam? Where is the timestamp for the part where Linus mentions honey? And then Linus could put in the video from 5 minutes to 6 minutes and 10 seconds. And then if you have YouTube Premium or YouTube Red and you're paying for it, it automatically skips you over that segment the same way that Sponsor Block would skip you over that segment. They have not implemented that. If they implemented that, that would make the experience a lot better for a lot of people. And honestly, even if they didn't do that, even if they literally just gave you access to the Sponsor Block database, that in and of itself would be great. But you cannot use Sponsor Block with the YouTube app. You can only use Sponsor Block with the YouTube Revanced app if you are using it on your phone. You can use Sponsor Block with other things. And this brings me back to something that I've talked about in the channel many, many times, which is that you often get a better experience when you pirate than you do when you pay. If you are to pay for a movie, you will see the interruption before the movie begins saying that you will go to federal prison, you are a pirate, there is a fine, you will go to prison if you pirate the movie. But when you pirate the movie, You don't see that. When I pay Netflix to watch something and I watch it in my web browser, I get 720p at less than 3 megabit per second. When I pirate it, I get a Blu-ray at 50 megabit per second. I consistently get better quality by pirating than I do if I pay Netflix for the full 4K version with their highest tier. And here, the same thing is true. Sponsor Block is something that's made available to people who use the cracked version of the YouTube app, but it is not made available on Android if you're using the stock YouTube app. And this is something that YouTube could fix for people. It's a very simple fix, and I don't think they're going to do it because they have not, in my opinion, been focused on making the platform better for a long period of time. In fact, in many ways, it's gotten worse. I'll talk about some of the very basic back-end features that I like that are unrelated to this, that used to be very helpful to me that no longer exist. So, for instance, I actually used to read all my comments. I don't read the YouTube comments anymore because they have destroyed my ability to interact with it in a productive way. One of the things I used to do is I used to search for people's comments to see what their comment history was. So let's say I get a piece of criticism and it hits pretty hard. What I used to do is I used to select their name. I would select the name of the person. I would scroll up here and I would search for comments and I would put their name in there and I would hit enter. And I used to be able to, if I was in the general comment section, I would be able to see every single comment left by that individual across all of my videos over the years. And this allowed me to see, is this somebody that regularly has really good feedback, but in this one case was really harsh, meaning maybe I should take this to light because they're not just a hater? Or is this just an anti-fan dick rider that has just always found some way to troll and be a piece of shit? This was very helpful to me because it allowed me to figure out what feedback I should take more seriously than others. Again, if somebody was a great contributor and this one time they're really mad, maybe I really should take this feedback to heart versus, oh, this person is just a nonstop troll. I can't do that anymore. There are a number of ways where YouTube has actually gotten worse over the past 10 to 15 years since I started back in 2011 and 2012. So I don't think that they're actually going to implement this feature. I don't think that they are going to implement something as easy as it would be, where if you click, yes, it includes paid promotion, you would have a place here to put the timestamps with the ad because that would require actual work and that would require that they don't hate their user base. And I genuinely believe that the people at YouTube really do hate their viewers. I think, as Eli the computer guy has said, when Susan Wojcicki, the old chief of YouTube, would walk over to her refrigerator that is called YouTube and open it, she would just look at the content creators and the people using the platform and just go, ugh. And I think that Eli the computer guy's assessment of the culture behind the company is quite correct. I hope that this lawsuit is successful because I think it would lead to a better experience in the platform for everybody. If you paid for an ad-free viewing experience, it is objectionable that you have to be subjected to another ad inside the video. And as somebody that is a content creator myself, obviously here I'm a little bit biased. I have had a 14-year history where I have not embedded ads inside or sponsors inside the video. I don't promote Raycons and ExpressVPN and Honey and all this other bullshit. It annoys me when I have channels I'm subscribed to. And I used to say that if there are ads that you have inside the video, I'm just not going to listen anymore. But I kind of said, okay, maybe I'm being a little bit too unfair there. But now I'm at a point where there's several channels I'm subscribed to where I can read the title of the video. And I know simply from reading the title of the video that the video itself is an ad for what you're talking about in the title. And then I'll click it and it'll be confirmed. You got paid by that company. This entire video is an ad for this particular thing. I'm just tired of it. If you're paying a monthly fee to not have ads in the platform, I don't want ads in the platform. That's simple. Also, doing this video, I actually just realized that I'm still paying for premium, which is in and of itself objectionable. I did an entire video on why I don't pay for it anymore, and then I subscribed for it because when I was working at Fudo, I was doing QA/QC for GreyJ, and YouTube has this feature called enhanced bitrate. So when you go quality over here, you could choose enhanced bitrate. You would get a higher bitrate of the video if you were a premium subscriber, and we wanted to make sure that that worked, and I forgot to unsubscribe when somebody else was doing the QA. Fuck. Yeah, how easy it is to forget to cancel a subscription. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that creators should be forced, if they have paid promotion in a video, to put the timestamps of it so that you, as a YouTube Premium subscriber, do not have to see that shit? In my opinion, I think yes. Again, if you're getting $1,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 to promote somebody else's stuff in a video, I think it is more than reasonable to say, we just want to know the timestamps of it so that people who paid to watch your content do not have to see that shit. Just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.
What's up, guys? This is Bird Music, and welcome to Modern Warfare 2, 16 years later. We're so old.
Subscribe or I will get oofed by daddy.
Well, that's one way to start the video. Fun little merch music lore. The first ever Call of Duty video I posted on this channel was actually from Modern Warfare 2. Let me know if you guys can find it. You'll never find it. But yeah, man, I figured I'd get back on MW2, see how the game is doing 16 years later, and see if we can even find matches.
In a laboratory called Cortical Labs. It's playing Doom. But look closer. There's nobody playing it. Or actually, there is. They just can't get out. They are trapped there because this computer is running on living human brain cells, and those cells are the ones playing. So why would anyone build a computer out of brain cells? It basically comes down to power. AI uses a massive amount of electricity, and that number keeps going up.
Amazon investing another $15 billion.
Meta continuing its massive investments in AI, this time in the form of compute power.
The computing power it takes to train these models roughly doubles every 6 months. Almost nothing in the real world grows that fast, but you can't build power plants that quickly. So there's a growing gap between what AI needs and what we can actually supply, and it keeps getting wider. You can see the panic in what the big companies are doing. They're going after energy now, not just better software.
Yep.
Old nuclear plants that got shut down years ago are being turned back on just to power them. Companies are signing deals to lock up huge chunks of the grid years ahead of time. It's not really a race for smarter AI anymore, it's turning into a race for electricity. So a few researchers went a totally different direction. They looked at the brain. Because the brain figured this out a long time ago. Think about what your brain is doing right now and how little it runs on. Everything you're thinking runs on about 20 watts. We're using whole power plants just to copy a small piece of what your brain does on basically nothing. And it learns way better than our machines too. To teach a computer what a dog is, you have to show it thousands of photos. A little kid sees a dog once or twice and just gets it.
Damn, we're kind of fucking amazing, huh? Wow, I didn't know we flex like 20 watts. That's all we need. Shit, that's pretty good.
How did we get from that to a dish playing Doom? It took 3 steps. Back in 2008, researchers grew a sheet of rat neurons and hooked it up to a little robot. And the cells actually drove it around. It sounds bigger than it was. The neurons just sat flat on a grid of electrodes and connected to their neighbors. That was pretty much it. This was nowhere near a real brain, and it wasn't even the first time someone had wired living tissue to a machine.
Who even thinks of doing this? Who even is like, let's hook these brain cells up to this shit. Let's see what happens. Like, who even comes up with this stuff?
Team even did it with the brain of a lamprey. The footage always looked a little like a horror movie. And from the start, people had one real doubt. Were the cells actually driving, or was the computer just taking their random signals and making it look that way? Keep that question in mind. We're coming back to it. The second step came in 2013. A scientist named Shinya Yamanaka showed you could reset a grown-up cell all the way back to the start. He found 4 proteins that turn a regular cell into a blank, brand new one. And from there, you can turn it into almost anything, including a neuron. That was huge. It meant you didn't have to take neurons out of a brain anymore. You could just take a bit of skin and grow them. There was another big
What? You could just convert that shit? Whoa, that's fucking huge. Why am I just now hearing about this? We gotta quit playing so many video games.
Step 2. If you grow neurons in the brain anymore, you could just take a bit of skin and grow a regular cell all the way back to the start. Back to it. The second step came in 2013. A scientist named Shinya Yamanaka showed you could reset a grown-up cell all the way back to the start. He found 4 proteins that turn a regular cell into a blank, brand new one. And from there, you can turn it into almost anything, including a neuron. That was huge. It meant you didn't have to take neurons out of a brain anymore. You could just take a bit of skin and grow them. There was another big step.
What? You could just convert that shit? Whoa, that's fucking huge. Why am I just now hearing about this? We gotta quit playing so many video games.
Step 2. If you grow neurons on a flat dish, they only connect to the ones right next to them. But if you let them grow in 3D, they start to organize on their own. They spread out, fold into layers, and form the rough beginnings of real brain regions, kind of like an embryo does. One of those tiny balls of tissue is called an organoid. Then, in 2022, a company called Cortical Labs put all of this together into something they called DishBrain. They grew about 800,000 neurons, part mouse and part human, and taught them to play Pong. Two things about this were a big deal. First, a dish of cells was actually working toward a goal. Second, and this is the weird part, they'd figured out how to teach it. They could ask the cells a question and get an answer back. You're not supposed to be able to do that to a blob of tissue in a dish. So how do you teach a neuron? You can't give it a treat. So they used a basic fact about neurons. They hate chaos. If you give them a signal they can't predict, it stresses them out. So the setup was simple and kind of mean. When they missed the ball, they got hit with scrambled, random noise.
Dude, this just seems terrible. This seems awful, guys. So you're telling me we're creating
The ball. If you give them a signal they can't. So they used a basic fact about neurons. They hate chaos. If you give them a signal they can't predict, it stresses them out. So the setup was simple and kind of mean. When they missed the ball, they got hit with scrambled, random noise.
Dude, this just seems terrible. This seems awful, guys. So you're telling me we're creating some bioengineering here, and we're teaching it by essentially fucking stressing it out, like shock therapy, guys. We're shock therapying these things.
When they hit it back, the signal went calm and steady. The neurons have no idea what Pong is. They're not playing to win. They're just trying to make the chaos stop.
Jesus.
And they didn't pick that method at random. They based it on an idea of the free energy principle. Basically, it says every living thing is always trying to avoid surprises and keep its world predictable. Because being surprised usually means something's wrong. So that urge to calm things down isn't something the scientists added. It might be the most basic thing a living cell does.
By default. Well, that makes sense.
There's a big catch. We can grow brain tissue in 3D, and we can talk to living neurons. We just can't do both at the same time yet. So in order to talk to them, DishBrain had to keep the cells flat because the chip that reads them is a flat grid. If you put a round organoid on it, you only touch the bottom layer. So they had to flatten it out and give up the brain's real shape just to talk to it. And remember, this is the crude version. Half the design is missing. Which brings us to a big new. Cortical Labs showed off a computer that runs on brain cells. They call it CL1, and it plays Doom. This one was grown from about 200,000 human neurons. They took skin cells, reset them, turned them into neurons, and spread them across a bed of electrodes. Then they tied the signals to moving and shooting the same way as before. When it did well, the signal stayed calm. When it took damage or died, the cells got flooded with chaos. And within about a week, it had learned the basics of moving around and shooting.
Oh my God, it's like the most sophisticated version of aimbot. It's like that video we watched where the guy had the shock therapy on his arm. Every time he missed, he got shocked.
I'm not going to pretend to be calm about this, and I don't think you should be either. It's amazing, and it kind of makes me sick. And I think both of those reactions are fair, because that computer came from a real person. It's literally made of human cells. I keep imagining what it would be like to be the thing stuck in there, playing the same little piece of game over and over forever, not remembering anything before it, not knowing that anything else even exists. For these cells, there's nothing else, just the game. Are we making a piece of a human being whose whole world is getting shocked inside a violent video game just to save some electricity? For years, we worried about the opposite thing, humans turning into machines, chips in our heads, that whole idea. Almost nobody expected it to happen the other way around, but that's kind of what's going on here. Now, to be fair, there was a big backlash to all of this, and it was kind of fair. When Cortical Labs published the Pong word, the title used a heavy word. It said the neurons showed sentience. Normally, that word means someone's in there having an experience, but the scientists meant it in a really narrow, technical way. Basically, anyway, the story blew up, and a lot of scientists were angry too. About 30 of them signed a letter saying the company had twisted the word just to get headlines and oversold the whole thing to help the business. Their worry was pretty practical. Too much hype leads to backlash, and enough backlash could shut down a young field like this. And this research really matters. Scientists use these same cells to build living models of human diseases. They can watch how a disease develops and test drugs on tissue that's way closer to ours than a mouse's. That could save real lives and replace a lot of animal testing. It would be a real loss if a stunt with Pong and Doom dragged it all down. Doom really was kind of a stunt. The audience asked for it, and it made great marketing. But it brings us right back to that doubt from 2008. Is the brain really playing, or is the computer just cleaning up random noise and making it look good? Almost 20 years later, we can finally check. The developer behind the demo, who goes by Sean Call, released the code so anyone can read it. And what's inside is not just a brain in a box. There are 3 parts. First, a normal computer chip running an AI that watches the game and decides when to reward and when to punish. Second, the 200,000 human neurons. And third, a translator in the middle passing messages both ways. Here's the uncomfortable part. Almost all of the actual smarts are on the chip, not in the cells. Reading the screen, running the learning, telling a win from a loss, that's all the computer. The developer was even worried his AI would get so good it wouldn't need the neurons at all. So he ran a simple test. He took the cells out and replaced them with pure random noise. And the learning just stopped. So the neurons are doing something real, even if it's a small part. So the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's not a brain playing on its own, but the cells aren't just for show either. It's mostly a normal computer doing the work, with living cells adding a small but real piece.
Well, it's the living cells adding that, but also it's the efficiency of it, right? Dude, didn't the Matrix call this shit? Again, and obviously it was Hollywood and they, blown up in its own way. But isn't that kind of like the Matrix in some way?
That's where we are today. And here's where I think it goes next. I don't think that small biological parts stay small. Labs all over are racing to grow this tissue in full 3D and connect to it properly. And it's already turning into a business, a huge business. A Swiss company called Final Spark rents out living human neurons over the internet. You pay a monthly fee, log in from anywhere in the world, and run experiments on 16 tiny human mini brains that they keep alive in their lab. And their whole pitch is the same thing we started with: energy. They say these living chips can run on up to 1 million times less power than a normal one. So this weird one-off experiment is basically becoming a product you can subscribe to. And I believe sooner or later, someone's going to connect a full 3D mini brain and close that last gap.
Dude, maybe that's the future. Maybe the future is, instead of us having robots, which are gonna clank around and drop your dishes and fuck up your sandwich, half the brain is gonna be human, half of it's gonna be machine. This is really messed up. No, don't lie, this is really messed up.
But let's go back to that Doom machine for a second. Most of the smarts are in the computer. The cells only do a little. So it would be easy to hear that and just ignore it. But being smart was never the scary part here. Being smart and being awake are 2 different things. You can be great at solving problems and still not feel anything at all. So the real question isn't whether those cells are clever, it's whether anyone's actually in there. And it turns out being able to feel might not need a big smart brain at all. A renowned neuroscientist, Mark Solms, argues almost the opposite of what we were taught. Solms says feeling isn't something that sits on top of intelligence. He thinks it comes first, underneath everything else, and that it comes straight out of the basic drive to stay alive. Think about what came first in evolution. It wasn't logic or language. The earliest living things weren't solving anything. They were just doing something much simpler and older, moving toward what kept them alive and away from what didn't.
Away from the chaos.
So something like feeling was already around long before thinking showed up. Now think back to how these cells get trained. Chaos when they fail, calm when they succeed. That's the free energy principle again. That same drive every living thing has to avoid surprise and keep itself steady. And if Solms is right, that drive isn't just close to feeling. It might be where feeling actually starts. So maybe we've had it backwards this whole time. We're not slowly building a mind and waiting for it to wake up at the top. We might be poking at the exact thing feeling comes from, right at the bottom, from the very first moment we turn the dish on. And if something in there did start to feel, we'd probably miss it completely. We can barely spot it in each other. In 2006, a scientist named Adrian Owen studied a young woman who everyone had given up on. They'd called her vegetative. He put her in a brain scanner and asked her to imagine playing tennis. And her brain lit up exactly like yours would. She was completely awake and aware. She just couldn't move or speak to show it. And a later study found out that about 1 in 4 patients written off like that are actually still aware. So if we could miss a fully conscious person lying right in front of us, what chance do we have of spotting it in a clump of cells? We like to tell ourselves that feeling needs the right parts. Pain receptors, certain brain structures, but even that is shaky. Insects don't have a visual cortex, and they clearly see, so feeling might run on parts that look nothing like ours, parts we'd never even think to check. When the noise in the dish gets too loud, the cells turn their response down like they're trying to block it out. Something in pain would do that, but so would something that feels nothing at all. Backing away from a bad signal isn't the same as suffering, and from the outside, there's no test that can tell the two apart. This is what the philosopher David Chalmers called the hard problem. We can map every single cell in a brain and still have no idea how it turns into an actual feeling. So let me be honest about both sides of this. Think about what this research could give us. It could help us finally understand diseases. It could replace a lot of animal testing. And all of it comes from a tiny few cells sitting in a dish playing a game that's older than most of the people in the lab. It looks like nothing, but it might be the start of something huge. For almost the entire history of the universe, there was just matter and nobody around to feel any of it. Then, at some point, some of that matter arranged itself in a way that did something completely new. It started to feel. We've always thought of that as the rarest thing there is, something it took billions of years of evolution to make. And now we're basically trying to do it again in a lab on purpose. We take some cells, we wire them up, we train them with calm and chaos, and we watch to see what happens. And don't forget where those cells came from. They started as ordinary skin from a real living person who's still out there right now. We were never really trying to copy human thinking. That was never the scary part. The scary part is that somewhere in that dish, a piece of that person might start to feel something. And nothing on the outside would change. The game would just keep playing, and nobody would ever know.
Damn, dude. That's like torturing someone, but not giving them a mouth to make noise. You know what I mean? Where we go from here, I don't think any of us can really say. I don't think, I can't call it. I don't know what that's going to lead to. Like, I don't know if AGI is going to require some level of hybriding with human cells. Shit's kind of depressing. It's creepy. I won't lie to you guys. It's creepy, man. I mean, ain't no way around it. This is a well done video, but the whole thing, everything around this is wild. And it makes sense that feeling came first, right? I mean, think about what some of your earliest memories are as a child. I remember some of my earliest memories were specifically moments that I hurt myself. First time I ever broke a limb. First time I burnt myself. These things stand out because they have to. These are the kind of things that you have to remember, or you might repeat it again. But the thing is about these cells, you're essentially giving it chaos, which could also be, that's essentially pain in its own way. And all it's trying to do is stay away from that. And it will always continue staying within that lane to keep away from that pain and avoid it. Yep. Anyways, this is a good video. It's a good video. I'm not ready for it. I have no idea what the future is going to hold, guys. No. I have no idea. Here's the crazy thing. If there really is some crazy breakthrough, we probably won't even know about it. One day, somebody's going to buy a robot and they're going to be like, wow, this thing, man, it does such a good job mowing the lawn. And then that fucker's going to trip one day while pushing your lawnmower. And inside of its head, it's going to be half a human brain. You're going to be like, what the fuck is going on? Don't have kids, buds. Future looks dark. Oh no, I'm having children. Absolutely have children. We need to build up the resistance. Build up the resistance right here, right now. Damn right. I'm doing my part. Hell yeah. Good luck, kids. Oh man. This out of all the videos we've ever watched here, I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is some creepy shit. It really is. And I don't even think this video was trying to be creepy. It's just what's happening. It's what's being, you know, tested and researched. So
slap that like button. my boy Monkey Yaw right here, yo. He is gay. If anybody wants his number, hit my line and I will send it to you, brother. Monkey Yaw. He's 6'4", white guy, blonde hair. he's fiending for you now. Send him in your number, bro. He said he'll.
What we got? That was fucking terrible.
Yeah. Well, that team's cheating their ass off.
I think Tiki was because he fucking done backed up.
Oh yeah, Tiki definitely was.
Oh no, never mind. Still in there.
Who's this dude?
Enemy crossfire incoming. Enemy crossfire incoming. Kill yourself.
You fucking need aim assist to be better at this game. You're fucking ass, dude.
You know, guys, I gotta be honest, man. I'm incredibly surprised by the turnout of pretty much everybody's review, everybody that's relevant and anybody with, I don't know, a working brain cell, anybody's review of Modern Warfare 2019 Part 4. You know, typically when I put out these beta review videos, they do very well view-wise, but the support is always mix and match, alright? There's obviously the Scat Master fans, you guys are awesome, my Scat scribers, the fools. You guys are always here supporting because you guys are awesome as fuck. A lot of new people that catch my videos, it's always hit or miss, right? Because that's how a review is. You want to validate that it's shit, and some people want to validate that it's good. Here's the thing. My review was ultimately incredibly negative. It is not the worst Call of Duty of all time, alright, just spoiler alert, but it is very, 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 very far from being a good Call of Duty game. And typically when I make review videos like that, a lot of people get super upset. Well, not this time. Nope, this time, a lot of people have been incredibly supportive of those opinions, not just for me, but for other content creators as well. I think one of the biggest culprits for this is very obvious. It is skill-based matchmaking. Now we're going to talk about skill-based matchmaking and the performance of Modern Warfare 2019 Part 4 in terms of interest and popularity, because everybody was telling me to wait for the beta. I'm just rage baiting, right? Yeah, we'll get into all of that right now, but before we do, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to Batista bomb the like button right now and smash the subscribe button. Last video did incredible. If you guys enjoyed the content, you want somebody who's actually honest about the franchise and wants it to improve, even though sometimes I can talk some shit, I throw some memes in here, obviously there's a lot of jokes, then hit the subscribe button. We're on the way to 75,000 subscribers. Also, I need you guys to hit the hype button. Let's get this out to more and more people. And yeah, that's it for now. Let's get into the video. So guys, I actually did get the chance to play day 2 of the Modern Warfare 2019 Part 4 beta. Currently, I'm out of town, so there's not going to be a stream for the rest of the weekend, unfortunately. But luckily for me, guys, I played just enough during the first day to realize that, well, this is practically a demo of the game. Anything that they change from here is either not going to be so significant to the point where I feel like I'm missing out on something, but not only that, it seems like even if they were to change a lot of things at this point, besides one massive thing, the game's probably not going to get any more popular than, I don't know, maybe just a tad bit more than what it did day 1 of the beta. And if you want to know how this game did day 1 of the beta, well, check this out. This is a tweet that comes out from Charlie Intel. The Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 beta has lost 50% of its players on Steam 24 hours after the beta started. Now, before we get into the matchmaking, before we get into a bunch of other things, let me just address the copium. Always, every single time you talk about Steam charts, the Call of Duty community starts tweaking the fuck out, like these fucking little Fent kids out here just start bending over, start tweaking, you know, arms crossed, eyes crossed, probably drooling because they don't understand what this means or what it is and how significant it is. Do the Steam charts indicate the overall total player count of Call of Duty ever? No. But does the trend indicate maybe a dip in popularity that will be seen across other platforms even if you can't see what the direct number is? Yes. Okay, that is how trends work, that is how graphs work. If you want more information on that, I would recommend you take a fucking statistics class. This is basic stats too. Fuck school! Fuck all this bullshit, what the fuck? Now, a 50% drop off from day 1 to day 2, especially for a closed beta where not everybody can play it, yeah, I would expect this number to fluctuate significantly over the next couple of days, especially the next weekend, and especially when this game actually launches. But here's the thing, usually for Call of Duty betas, we can at least determine that it will be more popular as time goes on based off of things like the pre-orders. Guys, here is another tweet about how the pre-orders are currently doing. Now, these are subject to change, and if they don't get better, that is actually a worse thing. Okay, I would expect these things to get better, but currently, after day 1 of the beta, this is what we got. The regular version of MW4 in North America is 16th in pre-orders, the Vault Edition is in 12th place. And in Europe, the regular version is 18th, while the Vault Edition is in 11th. Now, somebody's gonna have to fact check me on this, but if I'm